You'd think a sound couldn't do physical harm. But the way the thing goes beep, beep, and jars me out of a deep sleep, it almost gave me a heart attack, so I gave the snooze button a smack. She says, oh no you don't, sleepyhead. Get your behind out of bed. She hops up quickly, gets dressed in the latest style. I crawl out of bed, give her a kiss. She says, wow, that was powerful. She puts on her shoes, making a statement of unique fashion. I say, what's with the sarcasm? She says, you need to find your passion. You used to kiss me and the earth would tremble. Sometimes I would weep. Lately, when you kiss me, it's about as passionate as kissing a sheep. Remember when we woke up before the alarm, excited for a new day? Now you push the snooze to try to make it all go away. You haven't sketched or drawn or anything, probably over a year. You've completely lost touch with your passion, and it's something to fear. You sit around eating burgers and fries, watching TV all day. Remember when we first met? You used to play soccer and eat Subway. You haven't had a job in 14 months, and that's just wrong. Find your passion, find it today, or tomorrow I'll be gone. But I love you. Then prove it, find your passion. Okay, I will, I said, but how? I feel like I'm stuck in second gear in the second half of my life. I can't find a reason, a will, a hope. But I don't want to lose my wife. She went to work and I moped around the house for about an hour. I tried to have a bowl of cereal, but the milk had gotten sour. Wouldn't you know it? Shopping is my job. So the milk's gone bad. I pour the bowl into the sink, remembering the life we once had. At least I could go shopping. Maybe it'll buy me some time. And when she gets home, I'll have dinner on the table, candlelight and wine. So I got in the car, a little distraught, nervous, kind of ashen. God help me, I said. How on earth does one find this passion? I hopped on the freeway, scared, confused, at the end of my wits, when I approached a freeway sign that said, your passion, next exit. I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. Should I go shopping or find my passion? The next sign read, you can't be serious. So across the freeway, I went dashing. I caught the exit just in time. The road looked kind of familiar. I drove until I came to a street sign named Passion. Peculiar. Then a construction sign that was blinking road closed suddenly changed. Your passion, turn left. It began to say as the letters rearranged. It led me to a park I grew up near that I once used to frequent. I don't know why I stopped coming here and where all the time went. And there was a guy in his early 20s kicking a soccer ball midday. I used to love soccer. And with that thought, he said, hey, you want to play? He kicked the ball and sighed and said, for you, I have much compassion. I don't understand, I replied. Aren't you looking for your passion? Well, yes, I am, but how did you know? I said under the shade of a tree. Don't you know who I am, he said? Your passion. It's me. Don't you remember the day you left me here in this park? And with me, of course, you left behind the flame, your spark. You kicked the soccer ball around for a while, and then you left it right here. So here I've been waiting, kicking it around for the last 20 years. That was the day you were laid off of the architectural firm, your first employer. It was really a great opportunity, you know, but instead it became your destroyer. Together we could have turned that circumstance into a dream. It was time to start your own firm, and we were an unstoppable team. But instead you left here with a sport you once played passionately, and so I've been here playing and waiting for you to come back for me. I'm really nothing, you know, without you. And you're nothing much without us. But together, we could find the most important thing, your life purpose. It's a byproduct of following your passion. That's me. We'll get you there. And finding your perfect purpose is nothing short of your life prayer. Oh my gosh, I said, look at the time. I've got to make dinner for my wife. She said if I didn't find my passion, she would leave me for life. Wait a minute, do you think you could come with me? Then she might stay. Sure, he said. but only if you let me lead the way. Of course, from now on, I'll follow you. So, which way do we go? This way, he said. I know a shortcut. Trust me. Go with the flow. And so we ran through the park in a different way until my passion led me to a boy. Who is he? He looks familiar. I said, I don't know. He said, he's your joy. You left him here when you were 12. See how he loves to play? I watched him build a sandcastle in the sandbox as I wiped a tear away. Boy, will you follow my passion? He looked up with an excited grin. Ooh, that sounds fun. When do we begin? Now, I said. And so we ran to a man sitting on a bench reading Voltaire. Who is he? Your intellect, the boy said. 10 years ago, you left him there. Excuse me, will you follow my passion? We're in a bit of a hurry. He looked up from his book. I understand. Of course, no worry. We took off running until we came to a woman in a summer dress, barefoot in the grass. The three of them made me stop even though I wanted to run past. Who is she? I said out of breath. This jaunt had become quite aerobic. Your feminine side. You left her behind in your 20s when you were a little homophobic. I watched her dance in the grass with the earth at her feet. I don't know why I was hesitant to say hello for us to meet. Excuse me, will you follow my passion? She looked at me a little surprised. Of course I will. I thought you would never ask. As a tear welled up in her eyes. And so we ran with passion for a mile till the wind began to blow. I felt a stirring in my heart, you might say an awakening in my soul. What is it? I said. They all looked at me in almost disbelief. It's your spirit returning, they said with a sigh of relief. Will you follow my passion? I yelled with my heart, my very essence. And the wind whirled in the air and you could feel the spirit's presence. We jumped in my car, went to the market. Each took a different aisle. In moments we had a meal fit for a king. A shop cart pulled up, just pile. Home, the boy chopped the vegetables with joy. The one from the bench read the cookbook. The soccer player passionately made the sauce. And the young woman made everything look good. And the spirit was there, you could feel it. And before my wife walked through the door, each of them walked right back into me, outside of me no more. My wife smelled the sauce, saw the candlelit table and the plate of fruit and cheese. I gave her a kiss that made her go limp. I made her go weak in the knees. I gave her a kiss like Clark Gable and any of those movie stars, old-fashioned. And when she came to, she opened her eyes and said, "My God, you found your passion." Not only that, but it led to my purpose to build homes in harmony with the earth. Recycled materials, solar panels, it gave my life meaning and worth. My latest home has a pool with rainwater, a diving board, and a little slide, and the closets are made huge, tons of room for shoes. That was my feminine side. So find your passion, your purpose, and your life will never be hollow. I guarantee the rest of you will more than happily follow. Thank you. You see, there's a trail of breadcrumbs that we have left behind in our life. Little pieces of popcorn or bread that lead us back, right? Back to the child that we once were that never left us and is waiting for us to come back to the park. And back to the feminine side for the men and the masculine side for the women that we may have been afraid of at some time. And back to the intellect, back to the passion, waiting for us. Please come, take me home with you. Take me home with you. And then they walk right back into our body and everything changes. And I wish today to begin to the first breadcrumb that I want to follow is the power of gratitude. To step into the power of gratitude at a whole new level, at a different degree than I think maybe possibly most of you have ever even considered. How grateful we can be for who and what we are, where we are, and what time we are in this life, in this world. Imagine right now, I'm telling you, the kings, we are so blessed, we are so abundant that the kings and queens in all of their kingdoms not long ago, 100 years ago, would trade their kingdom for a small apartment in the average city in America. They would trade everything. We live in the world of magic. What is this? Hot and cold running water? Lights that go on, electricity? Satellite dishes? You can get a college degree. What was that? And on your laptop? What is this thing you carry in your pocket that connects you to the universe and you can send images of yourself moving? We live in a time of pure magic. You have a car? A king and a queen would look at your life and say, my God, you must be God. You want to talk about the 1%? You and I at that time are the 0.1%. It didn't even exist what we have. And I'm talking about the kings or queens that would trade their life for your life. Then there were everyone else who were all peasants and slaves. We have been given a gift beyond measure. We stand on the shoulders of our ancestors who for 99.9999999% of human history had nothing. And they struggled, and life expectancy was 29 years old. We're living 3 lifetimes. We do this thing called retire and get to start a whole new life. We have weekends off. Disposable income. We get off work at 5. This was never heard of. We have so much power. We've been given so much. For 99.9 of all of evolution, which has led to me, the evolution of all things on the planet for billions of years have slowly, ever so slowly made tiny, tiny progressions over millions, thousands, billions of years, and it has all led to you. We stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, and they have sacrificed so much, and they had nothing. What I want us to get right now, that the words I'm about to say never left the mouth of a human being until a fraction of a time ago. These words never came because they are the most privileged words. What is my purpose? Those are brand new words. Because everybody knew their purpose. How will I get through another day? How will I survive? How will I get food? How will I not get sick like the rest of my family and my children who got sick? Everyone's purpose was the same. Survival, survival, survival. But we stand on their shoulders, and our ancestors are with us now. And through us, they finally get to ask the question, what is my purpose? Why am I here? They have given us this gift. This profound gift. You see, we used to spend all of our time hunting and gathering. 99.99999% of all that which we are, we're hunters and gatherers. What that means is we spend all of our time with our one focused purpose, trying to do everything we could to make it through another day, to get something to eat. And it was common to go for days without any food. And to get something to put on our backs. We were steeped in fear in our very DNA, and it was real. We were steeped in lack, and it was real. We came out of fear and lack consciousness, literally. We have the amygdala in our brain now that goes back to lizards. And it still runs the show, my friends. At least half the time. We are in a battle between the amygdala and the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is a place of compassion, love, acceptance, abundance, trust, letting go. But the amygdala is the lizard that we have been for almost all of eternity, from the moment that earth was created. We've been living from this. We are in a struggle now between the two. So it took everything we had, just to get a little food and a little clothes on our back. We had to focus and intention and clarity. Today, how am I going to survive? Just to get a little meat in our bones and a pelt on our back. But we have turned everything inside out and backwards, my friends. Just in the last 100 years, and every day it's exponential. We have turned our experience inside out and backwards for those of us who are blessed enough to be in a developed country. We have done a magical thing. Magical, miraculous. We no longer have to go out into our environment to get that which we need to survive. It comes to us. It comes to us in supermarkets, in outlet malls, in 24-hour AM PMs. We can order Thai food, Mexican food, Italian food, and it gets delivered to your front door. The world is coming to you. How grateful should we be to be alive right now? Oh my God. It's all coming to us. We are so blessed, but here's the problem. We're so blessed we become stressed. Yes, it's true. Because we have altered our environment to meet our needs, and it is miraculous. But the next stage in human evolution will be when we alter our consciousness to match our new surroundings.
That's right.
There you go.
When we alter our consciousness to match our new surroundings, we will be standing on top of the blessed gift we have been given. Listen to how backwards everything has turned. It used to take everything we had just to get a little food and some clothes on our back and find some place to call shelter for the night. Everything, for billions of years we lived like this. And it took focus and intention and discipline just to get that food and that shelter and something on our back. This is how backwards we've turned it, inside out backwards. Today, it takes the same amount of focus and intention to keep the weight off and keep our closets from bulging with clothes. Isn't it the truth?
Yep.
That is how upside down we've turned it. And the reason why it takes that much focus and intention is because we haven't altered our consciousness to match our new blessed surroundings. We go into a supermarket, and in our subconscious mind, the amygdala brain is going, oh my God, who caught all this food for me? I better eat it all now, because it might be gone tomorrow. We walk into, the Nordstrom, and we think, I gotta get every single shoe here. Because who killed all these pelts? I'm gonna get them all, put them in my closet, because tomorrow it could be all gone. And so the amygdala brain, we're in a struggle. And what this has created, this power that our ancestors have given us, has created what I call the reservoir of human potential. This section here I call the reservoir of human potential. Now I'd like everybody just for a moment to look at this and think, what do you see?
A mess.
A mess. Okay, we'll leave it at that. It is a mess, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, before we're through, you will see something in that will blow your mind. It's there. You just can't see it. Now, please do not focus on this. Don't think about my son in a loincloth, and don't think about this. Okay. This is the reservoir of human potential and spirit that has been created in the blink of an eye. Okay? You see what I'm saying? We live 3 times as long. We get to start a whole new career. We have disposable income. How did that happen? We get to retire. We only work so many hours, and then we wonder, well, what do I do the rest of my day? So we have this insane thing of the reservoir of human potential. It is the greatest gift to follow that passion, because we have a reservoir of human potential that's never existed before. These words can pass my mouth. What's my purpose? Because of the reservoir of human potential. It's the most blessed, blessed, blessed thing saying, and through all of time, our ancestors now are saying to each and every one of us, please use the power I've given you. Use the evolution, the spirit that has moved, created you. Use that to begin to do the next thing. And it's not even really a choice. What I've called the 3 LPs. It's not a choice. It's what's up, it's what's next. It's how we will create the new human.
Right.
This is how it will happen. You can do that anytime you want, James.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. By giving our passion to the world, we are stepping into that which we are called to do as the gifted, as the blessed, as the 1%. Because we have the information, we have the time, we have the energy, and the yearning. Number 2, love your people. Yes. Everywhere I go, everyone I know wants to know what real love is. They want to go deeper. They want to know true intimacy. My friends, these same words did not come out of a human being's mouth until the last fraction of a century. How can I go deeper in love? Are you kidding me? All we were concerned about is how are we going to survive? But now we have this reservoir of human potential, and so we actually look at each other and go, who are you? You know? This wasn't happening. Through all as we were steeped in fear and lack, which was real, we had no time to ask that question. But everything has changed, turned upside down and inside out since we have altered our environment. And I'm going to tell you right now why. Guys, please pay close attention to this. I'm going to explain right now why we must go deeper in love, why we do not have a choice, and why it's the next stage in evolution. Guys, here it is. They don't need us anymore. Am I right? They don't need us anymore. When was the last time you heard a minister say to the man, do you promise to obey? That woman would look at that man, that minister, and go smack! Take him, her, or her down. You don't talk to me that way. They don't need us anymore, and my wife reminds me daily I gotta be on my best. Look, we have this reservoir, and she wants to go deep, and it scares me. We don't have a choice. Look, listen to how fast things are changing. It's so exponential, it's unbelievable. Okay? So just imagine this. 50 years ago, women basically didn't go to college. 50, 60 years ago. A few did, but not many. 30 years ago, they went to what? Find a husband. Today, 60% of all graduates are women. And they're taking over. They're becoming the CEOs. It's all shifted. It's turning upside down and inside out. They don't need us. Now, women, please listen to me. It's your turn. We don't need you anymore because we can make top ramen. We can order a pizza. That's how powerful I have become. Don't fret me, woman. I'll call the pizza joint. I'll have time for here in 5 seconds. I don't need you. I got a credit card. Swipe. You see, we've altered everything, right? So we're no longer in need. We do not come together anymore out of roles or out of halves. Forever we were, so you go back to a certain point, we were all about survival, and we got together to survive, and I'm sure there was love there, but it was more about survival. And then 20, 30 years ago, marriage was all about playing your role.
Go back a little far.
Yeah, real bad.
Okay, 30, 40 years ago. 40 years ago. You guys you're not like most, you know that. Alright, so let me see. In the 1950s, which wasn't that long ago, everything was about playing roles. And people came together about playing their role. And the woman was, the Stepford wife. I'm going to take care of the children and make the food when my husband gets home, and I'm going to clean the house and take the kids to school, and that's my purpose. But inside, were they dying?
Yes.
Yes. And the man I must go make the money and do the slay the dragons and come home and then slap my children around because that's my job because my dad slapped me around, but I really don't want to and I'm conflicted about it, but I guess that's how you be a father. And we were all dying inside. That was just in the 1950s. Can you see how much it's changed? We don't have a choice but to love more deeply. We don't have a choice. You see what I'm saying? Following our purpose and our passion and loving the people. It's just what's up. It's what's up. What's up. And in doing so, we are becoming the new human being. We are becoming enlightened people, the ones who are here to save. What's last on my list? Lift the planet. And everywhere I go, I'm telling you, and everyone I know, these are the three things. 1, 2, 3. Third one, everywhere I go, in developed countries, they say, God, how can I help the world? How can I help the planet? How can I raise consciousness? What can I do for the planet? To help make a difference. We want to leave the world better than we found it. It is in the soul of us. We're feeling that right now. And we don't have a choice. I truly believe that the 3 LPs are not an option. That these things will save the world. And we have all the human potential to do so. We have everything we need now. We've been given so much power. It's beyond what anyone could have imagined, even 10 years ago. And the further back you go, the more unimaginable it becomes. And so we want to lift the planet. We want to leave the planet a better place. And how do you lift the planet? It's very easy. You live your passion and you love your people. You listen to your heart and your soul and you do it and you bring that gift to the world, you're lifting the planet. You love your people more dearly, more truly. First of all, you will be making a powerful influence in the world. But also, if you're loving people, how would you ever hurt the planet? You can't. But here's an interesting thing. 90% of the world believes in reincarnation, or 80%, something like that. Believes there's some type of reincarnation. And if that's true, then those of us who are yearning inside, we've got to make the world, we've got to help fix the world. If that's true, then who is it that will inherit the world that we're leaving better? Us! It's the most selfish thing we can do. We are the children's children who will be inheriting the crap we leave behind. Or the blessing we leave behind. Either one. So these 3 things. This is what's up. This is the next stage in evolution. This is where we're moving. This is what we're becoming. Lift the planet, the 3 LPs. And there are two things that are sucking our human soul potential.
Yep.
2 things are taking it away from the 3 LPs. So we're in conflict. Okay? So number 1 is the amygdala. This is what it's about. Overriding so that the frontal lobe takes full reins of our consciousness. When this happens, the work will be done.
Yep.
So the amygdala is in charge half the time, and we're struggling. So what is the amygdala? The amygdala is ancient. It's a lizard, and it's running the show much of the time, right? And we're on the back of a lizard going through life. And we're wondering why things aren't working out. And inside we have this yearning, this human potential. So when we're living from the past, that's our ancient past, and we bring it into the present, it doesn't fit. And it's creating stress. Profound stress in our lives. I was in Hawaii speaking, and it was the same time as my mother and father's 50th anniversary. So my wife and I decided to bring my mother and father with us to the island of Maui for their 50th anniversary while I was there speaking and such. And so we brought them there. There's one thing I wanted them to experience, and it's called the bamboo forest. Near a town called Hana. You see, the luau is here and now, right now, wherever you go, when you're totally enlightened. Until then, the world is our reminder.
Right.
That's right. And so we go, where do we go to? To nature. To awaken the truth within us. Because I am that, but I forgot. Now that I'm in nature again, I remember. Okay? So the bamboo forest is truly one of the most just mind-blowing. It's like the land of Oz. It is so enchanting. So I wanted my mother and father to experience this thing while we were there. It was the one thing. However, I was a little concerned because now I'm not saying I would never say they're old, but they have been married 50 years, so that should say something. And we all know that married years are like dog years. So in reality, they've been married 350 years. So they're getting a little. So I was a little worried because it's not the easiest hike in the world, but it's not the hardest. It's in between. So I said to my mom and dad, I said, I really want you to experience the bamboo forest, but I'm a little concerned. Do you think you can do it? They both said, we can do it. So we hopped in the car and we drove what's called the Hana Highway. It's one of the waviest highways in the world, and it's the most beautiful thing you'll ever see. It brings you to Hana. We come to the 7 sacred pools. Along the 7 sacred pools is a path that leads to the bamboo forest. So we're going up the bamboo forest, and the whole way up, I'm holding my mother's hand all the way up, and I'm looking at her little feet. The whole way, I'm just looking at her feet because I'm afraid she's going to trip on something. So I'm looking at her little feet, and we're walking up, and she has little feet. If she was Native American, she would be little feet. So we're walking up. I don't want her to trip on something. The whole way, like for an hour and a half, I'm looking at her little feet, holding her hand, and it was beautiful. And my wife was holding my father's arm, and we went up, and it takes me like a half an hour. We took an hour and a half. It was great. We loved it. So we got to the bamboo forest, and I'm telling you, when you get there, it is like the land of Oz. It opens up, and there's bamboo 60, 70, 80 feet high.
Woo,
a forest,
man.
A forest without end. And when the wind blows, it sounds like Mother Earth is playing the bongos. It's up, and you if you ever go, put your ear on one when the wind blows. Awesome. So my dad, we get up there, and my dad just starts, because you can walk right through it, he just starts wandering around. And he disappeared. We couldn't find him. And I yelled out, Dad, what are you doing? And I hear this, I don't ever want to leave here. It's so amazing. And I know what was happening to him. He was getting in touch with his inner child, his passion, his feminine side, all those pieces of us that we leave behind, right? He was finding them through the bamboo forest. It was awakening in him. So he wandered and wandered and wandered. It was like a dog. I had to put a leash on him. Dad, stay with us now. So finally it started to get dark. You don't want to walk down in the dark, especially when you've got little feet. So it started to get dark. I'm like, you guys, we better get down. So I take my mother's hand. I'm looking at her little feet. We're walking down. My father's going down. My wife is holding my father's arm, and we're making our way down. Little feet, little feet. We get down. It's kind of dark, and we go out to dinner. By the time we're done with dinner, it is pitch black. Pitch black. So we're going to drive back to the other side of the island now in the pitch black. So we get to the car on the Hana Highway, in the pitch black. And so we're driving on the Hana Highway in the pitch black, and it's just I believe it's 500 corners in 30 miles. That's what I believe it is. 500 turns in 30 miles. So we're driving, and after an hour and a half of this, my wife is driving. Oh, of course. And what did I say a minute ago? They don't need us anymore. I can't even drive right. So of course my wife is driving. I'm in the back seat. If that's not a metaphor. So we're driving on the Hana Highway, curviest road, one of the curviest roads in the world. And an hour and a half later, my wife goes, okay, everybody out, we need to take a break. So she stops the car, she pulls off the road, stretch your legs. So we're all stretching Now in my mind, if you're going to take a break, you should take at least a minute, a little. What about 3? But we get out of the car, 38 seconds, and I'm just about to stretch. 38 seconds later, my wife goes, okay, everybody back in the car. We gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. We just got here. I was just about to experience the now, you know? No, gotta go, gotta get there, but there's no there when we get there, you know what I'm saying? So we're piling back in the car. We're all like, okay, Heather has spoken. Everybody move. And so Heather gets in the driver's seat. My son, who was 13, he's 15 now. He's probably only 14 was last year. My son moves to the far left because the ocean is over here. So my son gets in. He goes to the far left. I get in the middle, in the back. My father gets in the passenger side. My wife is driving. My mother is on the side of the car, and she puts her hand on the door handle, on the one hand, and on the roof of the car like this, and she's standing there, and she just says, how much longer do you think till we get to the hotel? And as soon as she spoke those words, my wife hit the gas. And all of a sudden, my mother is holding onto the car, going down the highway like this. And I'm going, ah! My son looks over at his grandmother. And he goes, Mom, what are you doing? What are you doing? She's like, my father looks back at the woman he's been married to for 350 years. And she's out the door going, finally, my wife turns around. And I think she had sort of a moment. It was a short moment. And then she yelled, Donnelly! And she put on the brake and my mom was, and she's standing there, and I'm in the car, like, Mom! We're all in shock. We cannot understand what has just happened on so many levels. So I say, Mom! And I was looking at her little feet. I said, Mom, are you okay? Are you okay, Mom? Are you okay? And she looks in the car. I said, geez, Mom, are you okay? And she gets in, she sits down. Are you okay? And she starts to laugh. And I'm thinking, what is so funny? I looked at her, I said, who are you, Usain Bolt? Are you Flash Gordon? Are you one of the Incredibles? You make me walk with you up the whole frame like this. You could have carried me up, Mother. What are you trying to hide from the rest of us? I mean, and then we all started to laugh so hard. Once we knew my mother was okay, and that she could run faster than the car, and the whole thing was some charade, we started to laugh so hard we could not breathe. We were laughing so hard, and my wife is driving, and she's driving, and I'm not joking, the Hana Highway, this is, and she's, it was much more dangerous than texting and driving. It was just, we're like, how can you be driving? And we're going around corners, and she's blowing her horn the whole time because she knows we're about to go off the road. She's like, what is it? So then I start making jokes. You know, I'm like, babe, you know, I thought you were getting along with my mother. What's this about? And then I go, is this going to be like a new tradition? You know how the Eskimos, when people get old and they're ready to die? And then we go away. I said, so is this what we're going to do now when people get home? We're going to go for a drive. And then we're going to stretch our legs. I mean, we still laugh about it. We laughed the whole vacation. We were just, our stomach hurt. But when we finally got home to the hotel, we were like, honey, please explain to us. You got some explaining to do. Why? Why did you take off with my mother hanging on to the outside of the car? And she looked at me like it made total sense, just straight up to all of us. She said, well, because she asked a question. What does it have to do with anything because she asked a question? And she said, well, everyone knows you don't ask a question until you're in the car. On what planet? We're not on Venus anymore, ladies. And so here's the thing. My stories do have a point. So here's the thing. When she was a kid, her dad was very controlling and they drove around all the time. And whenever they were getting too ready to go, her father would say to her, don't ask questions till you get in the car. And so in her mind, this was just, everybody knows this. But we can all make the connection. How many things in our life are we assuming that are normal, that are the way that it is because we brought it to the present from the past and it doesn't fit anymore and it's not working and it's causing stress and confusion? Especially when we're talking about the ancient past and the amygdala brain that is running on lack and fear all the time. We bring that mind into our abundant, insanely blessed world today, and it creates all kinds of stress and confusion. Plus, if you live that way, you may drag your mother-in-law behind your car. Which, depending on your situation... And so number one, it's written really small here, you probably can't see it, but I wrote the past. So here's our reservoir of human potential, and it's when we bring the past into the present, it is sucking the power that we have been given by our ancestors right out of us. Because we're bringing the past with a bunch of assumptions that it fits today, and it doesn't. So we live in fear and lack. And that fear and lack makes us think, I better eat everything on my plate. Oh, and I better get this thing, and I better get more clothes, and I better spend money here, and I better act like this, be this way, do that thing. Because, my friends, there is an agenda out there that the world would like you to be living, and it's not your spirit. It's not your spirit. So number two, and they're related, but this is even more powerful than number one. I read here in the world, I call it the Tchotchke campaign. Okay, the Tchotchke world. There is a movement through our own culture, okay, that is vehemently opposed to the idea that you and I might reach enlightenment. They're through our own culture, our own system, is actually afraid that you and I might reach total and complete awakening, which could also be defined as full self-acceptance and love. And so can anyone guess why it is that our own culture is trying to keep us from becoming the new human with all of this human potential to do it? Why? Why would there be a fear? Now this is, those of you who've been through my Tchotchke workshop, this is not that, but this is a little tiny review of it. Why would you be afraid? Why would our culture be afraid of our enlightenment? Anybody?
Control. Threats and power.
Jealousy.
Ruin the economy.
Bang! The economy.
Right.
We wouldn't need all that crap anymore. You think of every enlightened human being who's ever lived. Jesus, Buddha, Lao-Tzu, Yogananda, Maharishi.
Had nothing.
Any of them. How much Tchotchke did they have? Zero. And so, if we woke up, we wouldn't need their stuff. And so how do they combat the tchotchke brain? How do they keep the tchotchke brain running? Which is, they stimulate the amygdala. Every day, they're stimulating the ancient past, struggling with it. How do they do it?
Ads.
Advertisements.
Facebook.
Sex, free advertisement, Facebook, everything. Do you know how many commercials you're exposed to a day as an American?
Yep.
Approximately 3,000.
A zillion.
3,000. And can you tell me what is the underlying message of 99% of them?
Bye. Bye. Here.
You don't have what you need to be happy, you need this.
Sure. I heard a million people say it in different ways. Bottom line is, you're not good enough.
Yep.
You're not enough. You should feel bad about yourself unless you get this. And then we get that, and then, well, that quite didn't do it, did it? So then we need to get this, and well, that quite didn't do it either. And then they tell us, oh, but we got a new version. Which, my friends, was actually timed. They do tests to see how long will it take for somebody to say, so then they released the new version. No, this is true. Do you know there's a whole thing in our culture called planned obsolescence? It is designed to keep us in a state of wanting. And we are teaching our children every day that the answer is more. There's actually an AT&T commercial right now. If you've seen it, it's live, it's not scripted. And a guy asks a group of children, what's better, more or less? And the children go bananas, don't they? More. Because if you have something, then you want more of it. And if you don't want it, then your parents might not want it. Then you have to have more because you want it, because it's good, and you want more. That's what literally happens. Where did that idea come from?
Parents.
Us, our culture, their parents. Our entire culture is putting that into our children. Let me ask you this. What happens if the answer is always more? You never get there. You will never be fully happy, whole, complete, or at peace where you are. Ever. And this is the message going through because somebody said it over here, the economy. What would happen if we all reached total enlightenment? At least half of the businesses on the planet would go under overnight. Be gone with it. And we're so indoctrinated into our tchotchke paradigm that we actually think that that's a bad thing. We actually believe that, oh goodness, I better buy, support the economy, buy stuff. We do. We have to believe this garbage. My friends, have no fear of the economy falling apart. If it doesn't fall apart under its current use, it will destroy the world. You see, the irony is this, my friends. While we created so much power, while we did this thing of altering our environment to give us this power, of this reserved power, at the same time we destroyed our environment.
Pretty much.
Now we have the power because we destroyed our environment, so now it's time to turn it back around and save the environment, which gave us the power to have all this free time, money, and energy. You see the paradox? So the only economy we ever have to worry about is the economy of the Spirit. And when Jesus talked about wealth, he was not talking about money ever, or abundance. Wealth, the root of the word wealth, simply means well-being. In the beginning, when you said to somebody, are you wealthy? You were actually saying, are you well with your being? Which means it has nothing or little or maybe something, but probably not, could be, maybe, but we know money doesn't have to be there. All the enlightened beings showed us. To be well with your being is simply to be true to yourself, to be enlightened. So we never need to worry about the economy. The only economy that matters is the economy of the Spirit. And right now we are getting a raise, all of us, to the higher consciousness, to the upper room. And this is a place that cannot be taken away from you. And a holy retooling is occurring. There's a holy retooling occurring on the earth right now. The free enterprise is beautiful because it gives us what we ask for. And all we have to do is begin changing that which we ask for. Supply and demand. As we change our demand, the supply changes. And you can see a holy retooling as we awaken. The businesses are simply retooling and creating things. There will be a time, my friends, when every business is in the business of one thing, and that is to support your soul.
That's right.
And getting there, it may hurt a little bit. It doesn't have to. It depends if we're open and embrace to it. It may hurt a little bit, it may not. So there is this movement, and it's to that, my friends, is triggering the amygdala. And it's taking our time, our money, and our energy and wasting it. When within inside of each and every one of us there is a whisper. And it is our very spirit saying, you have the 3 LPs, live your passion. It's in every person I know and in developed nations. Love your people, lift the planet. This is how you should be using these. Stop allowing them to create your thoughts, create your actions, to dictate how you will spend your life.
Amen.
Amen. My book and my mission is a revolution.
Yes.
I am trying to create a literal revolution of transformation and change. It is not too late, but it needs to happen right away. And we are eternal beings, so whatever. What that means is we could hit what I call the reset button. If we screw up, either an atomic bomb will blow us all up and we'll start over, or everything will collapse, blah, 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 and we start over and we do it again, and we start the class over and we do it again. We can do that, but I don't want to. I'd like to go to the next class, please. I'd like to graduate. So there's a song that, to me, for me, it captures the essence completely 100% of what I call the Tchotchke Challenge. And it's a song that will never, ever go away. It's a theme, it's an anthem. It captures the very energy, the ideas of what I call the Tchotchke Challenge. And we all know the song. And this song is actually painting a picture of the human being I'm describing. It is painting a picture of the raising consciousness that is coming. And we will hear this song. It will never be stopped playing because it speaks to our soul. You know the song. And it literally gives us an image of what I'm describing and where we all must go. You can sing along with me if you like. I know you know much of the song, or much of the lyrics. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. Imagine there's no countries. Imagine all the people living for today. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possession.
Yes.
I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. John Lennon is describing a complete paradigm shift. See, heaven and hell are mind Tchotchke. It's thought Tchotchke. No hell below us, above us, only sky. What he's describing, sometimes people say, well, I don't like that, it says no heaven. Listen to the song. He's describing the coming of heaven on earth. The kingdom on earth. That's the image he's created. And when we say heaven, we're often thinking of somewhere else, aren't we? He's trying to get us to stop it. It's right here and it's right now. When we live this way. And And I can tear apart the whole song, but I don't have time to do that. But I want to get to the last line, which I just said, which is the most powerful line because it is the ultimate challenge. Imagine no possessions. Yeah, I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of men. No need for greed or hunger. So what would happen is there such a thing? What would happen? What would it look like to actually see and experience the world that he is describing? Well, I've seen it. Almost it. Not quite. But I've seen almost what it would look like, with just one thing missing. A few times. And the number one time that I saw was when my wife and I were in Africa, and we were there we volunteer in Africa and bring the magic that we've created here in the West. Because you have some penicillin, you save a life. You have a scalpel that just heals a little tumor, boom, you just saved their life. It's magic. So we go there and I volunteer and I just help out and do crazy things like play music like Carl does, and for children. It's mostly children that we're operating with. But we took a break. It had been 10 days and it's really emotional and powerful in these hospitals that they're just like, they go back 80 years or something. Almost using bones and sticks, right? So we took a break and we went out into the bush of Africa for 3 days for a little safari. And we heard about there was a river nearby that we could hike to. So it was about 4 miles through the bush. And, it's Africa, but they said it was kind of safe. And so my wife and I put on our high-tech, spring-loaded, air-soled, Back to the Future Nike shoes that cost like $100. And you wouldn't imagine going on a hike in Africa through this without these kind of shoes. And then we grabbed several bottles of water. You wouldn't imagine it. Then we brought sunscreen. And then my wife put on a t-shirt and a long white shirt so she wouldn't get burned. We were equipped. And in the first half a mile, we're walking on this trail, and all of a sudden an ostrich came out of the bush and walked right up to my face. That's what they do. They go, it's freaky! And it was like he said to me, who are you? What are you doing in my bush? And I would like your shoes, please. And then he decided we were okay, and he moved along, and I was like, holy moly. In the first mile, what's going to happen out there? So we keep walking, and it's so hot, the heat's rising off the ground, and it's like creating waves, that illusion of movement. And all of a sudden, I look ahead, and I think I see, like, images of bodies moving, but in this wave, it was like an illusion. And as we got closer, lo and behold, there were 6 children in the trail ahead of us, in the middle of the bush in Africa. Where they came from, what they were doing, it was all, like, my brain could not get around it. Now, I don't need to go into much description. We've all seen it. They were very gaunt by our ideas. Their clothes were torn and dirty and ripped, and they were barefoot.
Yep.
Barefoot, running through the bush of Africa. And they were eating what's called sudza. It's kind of like rice. And this is what they eat sometimes every day, sometimes for a week. This is all they get to eat. And they were eating it. And so I walked up to them, and I said hello. And they just went. They didn't speak any English. And I found a couple of things that create connection. It's music and juggling. Now, I didn't have my guitar with me, nor did I have juggling bags, but there were rocks.
Oh boy.
So I picked up the rocks with these kids, and I started juggling, and they just started, they're screaming, we're looking like, and we're playing all these games, and I'm doing all these tricks, and they're freaking out. And then I did this thing that I call the toss of awakening, and I played it with them. It's whoever's ready to catch the toss of awakening. Is somebody here? And I say to the kids, is this your village? And they just go. And I get up to the village, and they hand me more rocks.
Oh.
And so I start juggling rocks, and they laugh and scream and their screams were like bells that went out. And suddenly all these kids arrived out of nowhere. Now there's 30 or 40 kids, and they're all laughing and screaming. And their pure joy, light, and love caught me on fire. And I got completely carried away in the Spirit. And the next thing I knew was, I honestly, like, what happened that I was out of the body? Imagine these 40, 50 kids surrounding me in laughter and joy and light. And I'm juggling. I put the rocks down, and I just out of nowhere I went, hey, hey! And they went, hey, hey! And then I went, hey, hey, try it. Hey, hey. And then I went, and then I went, and then I went like this. But here's the thing. These kids, some of them were like 4 and 5 years old, never missed a single beat. There were 40 or 50 of them, and no matter what I did, in joy and laughter, they were just, huh, 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 huh. And they would all go, huh, 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 huh. I mean, like, it was blowing my mind. They didn't miss a beat. And then I went crazy. As if I heard. Then I started just dancing through the village. Now, and they were behind me, like the Pied Piper, doing whatever they did. Now, I never knew the name of the village ever. So I have a name for it. I call it the Village of Nothing. Because they have nothing. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. But brotherhood. They have nothing. They have no electricity, which means they have no hot and cold running water. They have no lights. They have no air conditioning, no heat, no stove, no oven, no television, no satellite dish. Nothing. They don't have running water unless you count the water I saw children running with on their back from the river, which was the most soulful running water I've ever seen. And so I started dancing around the village of nothing. Kind of like dancing in the rain, but it was the village of nothing. And more kids showed up. I think they came from the village next to nothing. And pretty soon there were 60 of them, and we were just going crazy. Meanwhile, my wife was talking to a teenage girl who knew a little English from the village. And she was wearing this tattered clothes, it was dirty, but she knew a little English for some reason somehow. And as they were talking, my wife looked at this girl, and suddenly she said to her, "I'd like to give you my shirt." And she started to take it off. And you have to really get this teenager, who lives in the village of nothing, who's wearing tattered clothes, looked at my wife and said, "I can't take your shirt. You need your shirt."
Wow.
And then my wife said, "No, please, it would bring me joy if I could give it to you." And she said, "No, it's your shirt." And my wife said, "Please understand me. Please accept this gift." And this 16, 17-year-old girl reached over and took the shirt in her hand, and she just held it. And she looked at my wife, and as she started to cry, she said, "Thank you. This will be my favorite shirt forever. I will always wear it and think of you." And so she put the shirt on and wiped the tears from her face and wore it, and she just beamed. You see, she doesn't know that back at our house we have enough clothes for everyone in the frigging village. And the village next to her. She doesn't understand that. And so she put on the shirt in tears. Meanwhile, I really got crazy. The Spirit, I'm talking about getting carried away. So I was dancing, and they were all following me. And then I got down then I went like this, shh. And all the kids got down, they all went, shh. And I drew a circle in the ground, and believe me, I have no idea where any of this came from. I drew a circle in the sand, and I yelled out, "This is the circle!" And they have no idea what I was saying, but they could feel the energy, and so they repeated the sound. So I did a circle, I went, "This is the circle," and 60 kids went, "This is the circle." And I went, "The circle is love," and they went, "The circle is love." And I went, "We are one in the circle of love. We are one in the circle of love. God is love. God is love. In the circle, I love you. In the circle, I love you." And then the Spirit moved and I was transcended to a whole other level. I got up and I started to do the chicken dance. And the kids, they just went. All through the village of nothing, we were doing the chicken dance. It's universal. I've done this all over the world. Not kidding. And then it became time, as the sun was coming down, for us to leave the village of nothing. And these kids, as we began to explain, we need to leave before it gets too dark. And so they took our hands and our clothes. They surrounded us. There was a mob. They were petting my arm. They were looking up at me and going, and they held us up and walked us. It reminded me so much of the scene in Close Encounters. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where the light was emanating from the aliens. Well, these children are so full of love. It's alien. It's alien. It's from a whole different culture. You see, the light and the love and the peace that they have, you cannot take away from them because they have nothing. It is pure joy. And it emanates from the essence and the truth of who they are. They haven't forgotten. And if you take away a kid in our culture their iPhone, oh my God. Life is not. It's unfair. Now tonight you don't get to watch TV. It's so unfair. The world's falling apart. And I'm not saying these kids are more enlightened than you or me or our children. I'm saying their circumstances has created a being who's transcended the idea that happiness is outside of them. They're like in the ultimate workshop. It's true. So we walked down to the edge of this village of nothing, and we didn't want to say goodbye. So I got out some sunscreen to wipe on my arm and put a little bit on my face because the sun was coming down. It was just beaming right in our faces. So before we said goodbye, I got out some sunscreen. I had no idea what havoc this would cause. I put a little sunscreen and all the kids went, "Oh!" They had never seen sunscreen. You need to understand, they've never seen anything that we call normal. Anything. So sunscreen was like, "What is this?" And they all just put their hands up. And so I went around, it was a brand new sun, and I filled all their hands with drops of sunscreen. And they began putting it on their face. And they were looking at each other and going. And they were just taken away by this, and I had no idea what was going on. I didn't really understand until about a year later, I was meditating on that moment. That changed my life forever. And I realized what they were doing. They were trying to change the color of their skin. They were trying to become me. They were thinking, wow, what would it be like to be this man from America who has everything? What if I could be like that? But the thing that they don't understand, in our endeavor and our ambition to alter our surroundings, to create so much power, and we have, what they don't understand is along the way we lost something. And they still have it. They still have it. And so what I endeavor to do now I try to wipe their black skin on me. It's not about the color. It's their soul, it's their spirit. And I realized in that moment what true enlightenment is. Here it is, my friends. This is it. This is the world John Lennon was imagining. In that moment, I got it. Because they need some things, believe me. I can tell you right now, half of those children are probably dead. And this was only a couple of years ago. They need things that we have. And we need what they have. The world that John Lennon envisioned in true enlightenment will be the moment that you and I, who live in the world of more than enough, can live consciously in the world of the village of nothing.
That's right.
Because then we will do nothing but allow the reservoir of human potential to transform the world. We have everything we need. We have all the power we need. We have all the energy we need. We have the reservoir of human potential. And when we can allow the village of nothing consciousness to become our consciousness, we will transcend. It will save the world. And the very words to the song John Lennon will actually be visible on the earth. It will happen. And so we finally said goodbye to the kids. And as we walked away, I didn't want to look back. Because I know what they are going through. And as we walked away, all of a sudden it started quiet and it got louder and louder. We just heard the voices start to say, "We love you. We love you. We love you." And I looked at my wife and I said, "I can't look." We finally turned around. And we waved our arms and we said, "We love you." And I think of that chant of we love you today. I think of it as the voice of the pure innocence that is within each and every one of us, of the village of nothing that is in pure love, a kind of power that no one can take away, and you can't buy it, you can't rent it, you can't mortgage it, you can't lease it. It's an inside job. It's in every one of us. And so let us take a moment in a quick meditation to source the village of nothing. And this is, invite you to take a deep breath in with me. Become centered. You can move that if you want. You can move it.
We don't want to see you.
We'll need to move back in a moment. This is a chant that I wrote from the Shona language. Shona goes back thousands and thousands of years. And the word is Mweya. Say that with me. Mweya. And in Shona, which is the language these children speak, it means with soul, or to have soul. So I took the word Mweya and created this chant out of it. So just take a deep breath, and I'll invite you just to join me in this ancient sound. Mweya, I open up my mind. Mweya, I open up my heart. Mweya, I open up my life to the truth, to the truth. I am whole, I am whole. Way up, I open up my life, I open up my life. Way up, way up my soul, I open up my soul. Way up my heart, I open up my heart to the truth, to the truth, to the truth. I am whole, 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 I am whole. of mind. We too can live there. By letting and being grateful, by being profoundly grateful while living in the village with more than enough. And so see yourself putting bright white sunscreen all over your face right now. Just wiping it on. And as you do, realize that this is no ordinary lotion. It offers 100% SSP, or soul protection and freedom. It blocks 100% of the harmful rays of excess that takes away from the reservoir of human potential. I see my face covered in it now, and I smile as the rays of false information from a well-meaning culture bounce off my skin. I know that I am perfect and whole. There's nothing more I need to be enjoyed. And so you rub this lotion until it disappears into your skin. That's the power of the children of the village of nothing coming into your beingness. You are powerful beyond measure, beyond kings and queens of old. These children have taken full and complete responsibility for their experience of life. No excuses. Their joy and their happiness just is, regardless of their circumstances, their environment. Wow, that is true power. True power. Now I'd like to transport you to a field. It's dawn and the day is warming as the sun rises. There's a soft breeze. And there in the middle of the field is a hot air balloon, colorful and bright, with a huge giant basket. And there's a being there next to the balloon with a big smile, calling you forward, waving you to it, and saying, "Come, get in the hot air balloon with me." And as you approach this being, you begin to see that this is your master teacher. This is the one that inspires you, that touches your soul. This, of course, can be anyone that speaks to you. And they help you climb into the basket. And then your teacher takes the tether that's holding it to the ground and cuts the cord. And suddenly you take off in the air, floating free. But then there's a jerk and it stops. And your master teacher signals you to come look down at what is keeping the balloon stuck. Points down and there's a giant sandbag. And you look at the sandbag and it's full of junk and stuff and things, physical things that have been consuming you. They've been in the way. You're spending money and time and energy taking care of it, moving it when you move, finding a place for it, taking care of it when it breaks, stressing over that thing that you have made your master in so many ways. And so your true master says, "I cannot cut this cord for you. You must cut it yourself." And he hands you this pair of scissors. These are magic scissors. And you cut the cord and you just let go. You clip it. And the stuff hits the ground and you begin floating again. Laughter, freedom comes from you. Up and away. When suddenly the balloon stops again and your master brings you to the other side. Dark energy. Negative thoughts and feelings, mind, thoughts, gossip, small thinking. Stuff in the mind that has limited your thoughts. And it comes to you through the internet and the television and magazines. What we need to do is begin looking away when necessary from all that excess information. And you clip the cord and you take off again, floating freer and freer until it stops again. And you look at the other side of the balloon and there's another cord weighing it down, holding you down. It's full of food, some that is just full of stuff that isn't serving the body temple. Maybe some is too much sugar or salt or fat. Food that you once eat, even when you were already full. Even when you actually knew you were stuffed. But the world actually tells us in our culture to eat more food 300 times a day. And it actually makes us hungry. But you know that now, and you no longer need to be afraid for survival. You know you have more than enough. You are safe. And it's okay. You listen to your bodies. And so you take the scissors and you just say, I am so blessed. I have so much. I want to fly now. I want to be set free. And so you cut the cord and you begin to fly. And then one more time the balloon stops and you look down from the final side of the balloon, and this bag is full of guilt and unworthiness and ideas left over, feelings from childhood, feelings that have been put into you from the society that doesn't know any better. And you take the scissors, but you hesitate. You stall. This one's hard to cut. It's full of the past. Your master says to you, it's okay, it's not real. You must cut this to fully begin to live the 3 LPs. It's time to fly. You have this reservoir of spirit in you now. You can do this. It's time to let go. You are worthy of this. And so you reach around with those magic scissors and you cut the cord and you watch that bag, and all the bags disappear. All the baggage is gone. All the stuff, all the excess, all the thoughts and the feelings and the junk, as you fly lighter and lighter into the air, off into a new world where a new human being is being birthed. A new consciousness is coming. This is your soul. This is your life. This is your time. This is the true you. We have seen it. We've experienced it. We bring it into our hearts now as leaders of the new consciousness. Way up. I open my heart. I open up my heart. Way up my soul. I open up my soul. Way up my mind. I open up my mind to the truth. To the truth. To the truth. I am whole. 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 Way up. Way up. So it is. So I promised you that this would make sense before we were all through. So this is a mess, isn't it? It's just a mess, but it represents our life. All this wasted, the reservoir of human potential that we've been giving away to the world. So all this stuff over here, and somebody yell out when you begin to have eyes to see. All this stuff over here is all the stuff that we purchase and buy, and it clogs up. And then we move, and we move, and we have to unpack it, and we literally say, what on earth was I thinking?
Yeah.
And why did who made me get this? And this is emotional stuff. It's forgiveness is all about just letting go. I have a whole chapter on that, and part of my webinar is all about forgiving and letting go of that. So that's emotional latchkey. And here's like people latchkey. You believe there's people latchkey in your life? Anything that does not support your soul. So you're getting rid of the people latchkey, getting rid of that stuff. And here's just thought patterns that are old and they're not working for you. And you start to see it now? Your passion is right there. It's inside the mess. It's inside the junk, the stuff, the distractions, the gimmicks, the false ideas. Michelangelo said, the masterpiece is inside. All you have to do is remove the excess. And my friends, for the first time in human history, we actually have more than we need to live, breathe and experience the 3 OPs, to live your passion, to love your people, and to lift the planet. And all we have to do is, instead of allowing the world, Jesus said, be in the world, not of it, instead of allowing a backwards world to take all of our energy and waste it on their agenda, we simply be the leaders of this new human being. And we take this energy and we push it toward our passion, our love, we lift the planet, and suddenly all that other stuff just melts away. It's gone. And you know you have, and I can prove it to you. Oh, I can prove it to you. You have more money, more time, more energy than you're aware of right now. And I can so prove it to you, and I can so show you, and I hope you're getting that and starting to feel that. And that you can do anything you wish to do, and that you get a whole nother life to live. We live 3 times as long. We have free time. We get to start over. It's an incredible gift. And so, this is my last official time with you, and I just want you, my prayer, my mission in life is to help people live the 3 LPs. May you leave here doing the Haka Warrior ritual dance. May you find yourself getting carried away. May you be in the luau. And number 1, may you begin to live in this world that is so blessed, the village of more than enough, with a consciousness of the village of nothing, and you will be transformed, and the world will be healed. Amen? Amen. Thank you. Bless you.
You know you got too much stuff, don't lie to yourself. Just take a quick glance at all the junk on your shelf. Really look at your closet, I dare you look at your clothes. Not from the ego's mind, but from the depth of your souls. You know you got pants that you never wear, t-shirts and shoes that you really wouldn't care if they just disappeared, just poof, they were gone. You wouldn't even stop to think that something's gone wrong. In fact, you know you would even feel a lot more free, because what really matters now would be easier to see. But if you had to think about it, why, you'd probably die. If you had to choose what to let go of, you just might cry. Can you see how insane we become, me and you? We actually think we are what we have and what we do. And that's a recipe for pain, suffering, agony. For everything breaks eventually. So what if right now you just let go? Can you feel the power rising up in your soul? I'm not talking about hoarders and that awful show. I'm talking about you and me, the average Jane and Joe. So take this challenge with me and you'll see it's all tchotchke. And together you and I will be set free.
And so, just exactly what is the Tchotchke Challenge? It is a soulful journey of getting crystal clear of what truly matters in your heart of hearts, your soul's purpose, your dreams, how you wish to see your life in every way, and then the joyful process of going through each area and removing everything that is not in alignment with your spirit, with your soul, with your dream. This program is a companion to my book, and we're going to go deeper than we've ever gone before. We're going to clear the clutter from our home, our heart, our mind, and most importantly, our very soul, the essence of our being. And once we clear all the chatter, all the excess, all the stress, then that which we wish to create begins to flow into our lives with more ease. True abundance begins to move through us as we step into our power. Michelangelo said this. He said, the idea is there, locked inside. All you have to do is remove the excess stone. Michelangelo, of course, created the greatest marble masterpiece in the world, David. He could see inside this chunk of marble, this masterpiece, and he just removed that which was not the masterpiece. Well, our lives, your life, is just the same. The masterpiece is right there, right now, covered up, and all the excess, and all the clutter, and all the stuff, and all the habits, and all the old thinking. And as we simply remove them, the masterpiece is revealed. And this process truly creates a masterpiece. And so I hope you will join me in this joyful, profound journey. All you have to do is fill out your name and your email on the left, push the green button, and we're going to have a lot of fun and be touched deeply in our heart. And I will see you on the other side.